honey, I got a video we need to watch, and I need to do my commentary on it. Nancy Grace is on the case. And honey, she went for getting justice for Nolan Wells. And guess who gave her a lot of backlash? A lot of white people don't like Nancy Grace right now, saying, oh my God, you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have asked those hard questions about Nolan Wells. She did a fair job. Now, I will say in this video, it is some guests that Nancy Grace have on here that got on my nerve, y'all. I don't like when they do stuff. They purposely put stuff in the atmosphere on air. And to make it seem like, well, Nolan Wells, he went there on an island with his friends, but he left and he did something with other people. Or they were saying, oh, he drowned, and it's 3 feet. The next thing you know, it's 20 feet. All that baloney crap. Well, we don't know if the GPS was really accurate, because they make a mistake. Baby, please, the GPS ain't gonna say have me on the ocean and I'm really in my bedroom. Okay. So I want y'all to watch it. I want you guys to give commentary. Let us know, how did Nancy Grace do on this case? I know a lot of us, honey, I'll be looking at Nancy sideways too, because you already know how. But with this, honey, I want y'all to just look at it. And then I'm going to come later on with my commentary, because I got a lot of stuff to say about this and y'all need to hear it.
You're saying the park ranger found him. That leads me to believe there were no friends. There was no newly met girlfriend. So am I left to believe that he goes out swimming all on his own and the friend girl leaves, the mates from school leave, everybody just leaves him out in the water and he dies and then just conveniently washes ashore? Somebody just left him out in the water? Does that make sense to you, Todd Terrell?
Well, being a person that goes to this island and several other areas that you can only get to by boat. We have some restaurants and bars in Louisiana that you can only get to by boat, which means you have to hitch a ride with somebody on a boat or that has a boat to get there, which a lot of things could go wrong in that scenario. But as far as what we believe, I believe that Nolan went out there with a group of friends. They were friendly, obviously so, because he was even out there. I mean, you got to understand, to go to an island, you have to have a boat, which means you have to have friends, which you have to have people that kind of like you to even bring you out there. So when Nolan got out there, the group of guys he was with, they decided to come in a little bit earlier. They were having some engine trouble on their boat, which is not uncommon. Happens a lot. Nolan, for whatever reason, decided to stay on the island, which is not uncommon. He could have, had this girl he was talking to. He could have just, for whatever reason, decided to stay. Not uncommon. That doesn't give us any reason to think foul play or anything was involved there. The issue is, when he stayed on the island, he had to hitch a ride back in with somebody. And there's where the issue becomes, who did he hitch a ride back in exactly? How were these people connected to him? How did they know him? And it's not uncommon for you not to know somebody at all and just say, hey, I need a ride back in. And they say, yeah, come on, get in the boat with us. So if I say, hey, Nancy, come on, get in the boat with us, that means at that point, we're responsible for you.
But Todd, here's my issue. Again, I agree with what you said, but the critical moment is somebody had to leave him there alone for the rest of the scenario that you're describing to unfold. He had to be alone. And Todd, and I'm going to bring in the rest of the panel, I want you to hear this. That is from Anna Moore on Snapchat, and you have to listen very intently to hear what she claims is being said. Todd Terrell, United Cajun Navy, please don't move. Joining me now, Caitlin Becker, the senior national correspondent, New York Post. She is the star of New York Post Cast. New York Post Cast. That's her podcast. Caitlin, thank you for being with us. Now, according to what this Anna Moore on Snapchat has revealed, you can hear and this is also according to the attorneys, give me my effing phone. This is Nolan reportedly talking. What the F are you doing? The friend, they claim, Tristan Shepard. I can't tell that from what I'm hearing. The friend says, get off me. Get the F off this boat. F you, bro. Now, the voice we believe is Nolan's is, give my effing phone. What the F are you doing? And then another voice, get off me. Get the F off this boat. F you. Okay. What do we know? And Caitlin Becker, joining us from New York Post, who is this mysterious friend girl? Because I want to talk to her.
I want to talk to her too, Nancy. The video is tough. The Snapchat is really tough because you do clearly hear an angry altercation. There is the assumption that we're working off of that it is Nolan. However, a few other friends have confirmed it's not Nolan. There's actually someone who said it was me, not him. So you have someone coming forward saying that is not him on the video. So then did no altercation actually take place, or is someone jumping in saying that's me to misdirect or to redirect us from looking at it? That's the one question. The other question that you asked is, who's the girl? Her name is apparently, allegedly, Katie. That's kind of all we know, just Katie. Someone purporting to be related to Katie went on social media, and this is not something that we've been able to confirm, nor have investigators confirmed it. But according to this person, Katie said, we met, we talked, he seemed like he was going back on the boat with his friends, and that was that. So Katie...
Okay, hold on right there. Caitlin Becker. Caitlin. Right there. The girl, if she exists, says they talked, they chatted it up, probably flirting with each other, if accounts are true. Then he leaves to go back to the boat with his friends. But according to the friends, he stayed with her. Right there, that is a conflict. That doesn't fit. Now, Caitlin Becker and the rest of the panel, I want you to hear this.
Is that Nolan in the video?
I can't tell. It's too far away. But in that video, I feel like the voices are too clear. Like from the side, it's too clear for it to be that far away, for it to be Nolan arguing. And then also that altercation, it sounds just like my other friend that got into the altercation on the boat. And they were trying to, like, as he was in that altercation, I was calming him down. They were trying to get him out off the island. They were trying to get him back to land because he was just losing it.
Okay, so you've got, that's from our friend Harvey Levin at TMZ. So you've got half the people saying that is Nolan that's in an altercation and is getting thrown off the boat. And then you got half the people going, oh, no, that's not him. But to me, the clear problem is that critical moment where Katie, if she exists, says he went back with his friends. And the friends say, oh, no, we left. He wanted to stay with her. Right there. That is the first conflict. Both cannot be true. Those cannot mutually exist in truth. They're mutually exclusive. He can't go with them and stay with her on Horn Island. Right there, John Mobley joining me, high-profile lawyer out of Charleston, South Carolina. John, that's where it starts. That lie. I don't know who's lying, but somebody's lying. Right there, Mobley.
Well, I don't know that I would necessarily agree with you on that. I think they can be both partially true depending on perspective. I think one thing we have to kind of keep in mind with this is we have a lot of different people telling things from different perspectives, from their own individuals' perspectives. It's certainly conceivable that he let his friends leave to stay with the female, if he was with the female, assuming that happened. And once he finished his communication or whatever he was doing with the female, told her he was leaving to go back with his friends. And from her standpoint, he said he was going back with his friends, which did not necessarily mean they were the same friends that dropped them off. So I would disagree with you on that.
Hold on. Mobley. Let me see Mobley. Mobley, you're right. Because, as I've told many, many juries, as a trial judge once always said in his jury instructions, it is your duty to make all witnesses speak the truth and impugn perjury to no one. So actually what you're saying could be true. If there's another group of friends, if they exist, We haven't heard about him, but you're saying he left with one group and had planned to come back with another group. Okay, I don't know if you're just spinning that out, but that could be possible. Okay, Mobley, listen to this.
You said that you hear on the video Nolan saying, "Give
Yes.
me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing?"
That's what a witness told us, and that's what we reported out. Then another witness had come forward and said, no, that was his voice. We have other witnesses who said there were other altercations. So, as Mr. Hurt said, we're trying to go through it all and so forth. And we'll be even more careful to say this is what a witness told us in the future.
And so your team hasn't been able to look fully into that and confirm whether it was or was not Nolan that said
Now,
that?
we have audio people doing it, but we know certain people said it was him, and then certain people said it was not him.
That is our friend, high-profile lawyer Ben Crump. And the last thing you want is him 3 inches up your tailpipe, okay? That's from our friends at Fox 10. So this is where it stands. Who left him there? Is there really a Katie? Did he stay with her? Did he leave with his friends? How did he end up there alone, which I find very, very disturbing. And also, back to Caitlin Becker joining us, senior national correspondent, New York Post, star of NY Postcast. The Postcast instead of podcast, it's a Postcast. Caitlin, now allegations have reared their ugly head that his phone has been tampered with and items have been deleted. Explain.
They had his phone. And when his mother was looking for his phone when he was missing.
Here's phone. Well, number one, to Dr. Janie Lacey, joining us, licensed psychotherapist, CEO of Life Counseling Solutions, author of, well, many books, but How to Heal from a Toxic Relationship, and she's the star of Let's Talk About It with Janie Lacey. Okay, Dr. Janie, who leaves their phone behind? Now look, I just got off a boat with my twins. We went fishing all over the panhandle. We have what you call dry bags. We don't leave our boat, we don't leave our phone anywhere. Because what if we need it? What if we need it out in the middle of nowhere and we were on a little strip of land right off the Gulf where, like Horn Island, there's no people. We were there fishing alone, believe it or not, and we had our cell phones. Now, I'm an adult, a teen. What teen leaves their cell phone? None.
Exactly, Nancy. I have a teenager. His phone is with him in his pocket all the time, and he even brings his phone to the bathroom. So we know that teens do not leave their phone. It is their way to communicate. It is attached to them. So when I think about what we're talking about right here is, right, concealment. And I can't speak to what these young people did, but I can tell you, especially young people, when it comes to their phone and they're constantly posting things, it is their norm. So when it comes to deleting, hiding, or even going silent after a tragedy, to me, it's almost always driven by fear of potential blame, fear of consequences, fear of what the truth might mean about themselves. But we know that secrets don't protect. And when teens don't have their phone, or when their phone potentially is taken from their friends, we know that there's a reason behind that. It's usually driven by fear, Nancy.
Okay, I got another issue. Caitlin Becker joining us with New York Post. Caitlin, the Life 360 seems to show something very different than other digital evidence. What do you know about that discrepancy?
It comes down to location, where the Life 360 shows him on dry land versus where the Snapchat showed him in the water, where he was and where the phone was positioned. So that is something that I think forensic investigators have to look into, digital forensic investigators, because it's difficult to determine from looking at it from our perspective, where was the phone actually? Was it out on the water at the last time it was used? Was it on dry land at the last time it was used? And when his mom...
Because a lot of the kids do have their locations where they're tracking one another. So one of the boys says, well, it's showing that, I can't exactly remember what his location was showing, but my Life 360 location was showing something completely different. It was actually showing that his phone was like he was on land. And so we ended up, she received the phone from that parent. So the Snapchat location looks completely different than the Life 360 location. So when I pulled up Life 360, it was different. It was showing everywhere the phone had been. Like it had, I was like, well, it's showing that he's back on land. Like I'm not, he's like, but no, he didn't come back with us.
N-O. I've tracked my son 100 times when he's fishing, and it shows he's in the water. When he's off the water, it shows he's on land. The mom is right. You were just hearing Christine Wansley, that is Nolan's mother, from our friends at National Action Network and GMA. Okay, I got a big problem with the Life 360 and the phone data all not jiving. I could see it, John Mobley, being a few blocks off, but not the discrepancy his mother is describing. I'm not buying that. And another thing, while we're talking about discrepancies, John Mobley, do you have children?
I have children. I got Life 360. I use the iPhone location tracker. I will tell you, even though I'm not a digital data expert, that Life 360 is not always 100% accurate. I mean, I think in general, you have to kind of keep in mind with all of these phones that, they're dependent upon the signal they're reaching, the coverage. I mean, as you know, you can have a group of people together, which means they're going to take up more bandwidth, and that's going to cause signal interruption. I think it'd be premature for anyone to try to interpret the data without an accurate digital download being conducted on the phone.
Oh, okay. I'm sure Life 360 and the iPhone industry is going to call you on that. I'm really surprised at this juncture, Mobley, that you'll actually argue with digital forensic evidence. But okay, who should I believe? You or the phone, the Life 360 and the iPhone tracker?
I want to be clear. That's
But
not,
that
you don't
said, the
have
reason I
digital
asked
forensic
you,
evidence.
oh, I'm hearing something, and it's you. Mobley, if you have teens, okay, you should know about Snapchat. Okay, at the supper table, the children go, "Did you see so and so?" I'm like, "No, I didn't." And they go, "Oh, here's a snap." They hold it up and they go, "Don't touch it, mother, or it will, I don't know, delete. I don't know what it does to it." But a Snapchat, you get to look at it once and it's gone. See, that's a problem forensically and law enforcement wise with Snapchat because they're gone. Unlike a text, or you send a photo or an email, or you send a video, as Alex Murdoch, that nailed his coffin, those stay. Snapchats disappear into the ether. So if the Snapchats aren't there, I can understand that. If there are texts deleted, I don't understand that. Okay, let's hear you explain that digital phenomena.
Now, I want to be clear. I want to just, go back to what you talked about earlier. You talked about the digital evidence. There has not been digital forensic evidence extracted from the cell phone yet. What you have are the young man's parents interpreting what they see on the phone and speculating that something must be missing. That's what you have. But both, you need to have a forensic digital data extraction, and correct. That can determine if text messages were sent, were they deleted, if photos are deleted, all that needs to be done. I mean, there's no doubt about that whatsoever. But just individuals kind of looking at the phone, trying to interpret these things, that's not digital evidence. That would not be admissible in court. And actually, it would not be reliable.
We also agreed that we will have a mutual inspection of the cell phone with our experts and their experts. Attorney Eric Hertz is helping lead the investigation team with former law enforcement experts who are going to help us with the cell phone download. So everybody will be able to see at the same time what the cell phone has.
Guys, that is our friend Ben Crump standing with the family. That's also from our friends at WLOX. Todd Terrell is with us, repping the United Cajun Navy, who was called in to participate in the water search for Nolan Wells. Todd, I'm curious about a theory that you threw out. It's not your theory, but it is a theory that has been discussed about his body being moved.
Well, as far as the body being moved, several things there. Like I said before, our mission is to bring a body home or bring a person back to their family and their, their loved ones. This is on federal land. So who has jurisdiction, first of all? It seems as though there's federal jurisdiction out there. The fact that they say the body was moved, we've offered our services. We have some of the best dogs available. This Darius case in Baton Rouge where the kid was dumped in a landfill, we were the ones instrumental in helping bring that to light, where they're searching for him right now because of our dogs, what they found at the gentleman's house that's in jail for murder. We offered our dogs to bring to the boat. There's only one thing that will clean blood off of a boat. I'm not going to mention it because it'll give people ideas. But I doubt if somebody would have done something, they would have used this chemical to remove the blood. So we've offered our services to bring the dogs around the boat of everyone that was potentially involved in this. So the federal land thing is a big deal. So the body being dumped, I would say that let us bring the dog to the boat. Let us bring it. They said the boat was clean that night or the day before. There's only one thing that's going to clean it. If there's blood in that boat, we'll find it. The other thing is, getting back to the phone, if these guys had this phone, they stole his phone, why didn't they throw it away? Why didn't they just throw it in the water? And if there is anything on it, if it was deleted, forensics, they should be able to find it. My thing is, if you came with these guys and they didn't bring you home, that is not uncommon. So I think there's where the focus needs to be. A, on let's get this notion that there was a body dumped. Let's bring the dogs to that boat, and we'd be willing to offer our services to go check that out. And B, these guys in the boat that he came with, it's okay that they left him on the island or they didn't bring him in.
Character or disposition, and had he done so, would he have ever not wanted his cell phone? The young lady he was talking to who said he told her that he was going to get back into the boat with the boys, and then the boys said that Nolan said he was going to stay and talk with her. Obviously, the statements conflict with one another.
We always taught him to, if you go with a group, you stay with a group. Even when he was in college, he would say, Dad, well, we're going to ride down to a party or something in another city. Now, so I was telling him, look, if you go with 5, you come back with 5. Do not separate from your group. Because I always said safety is in numbers. And he always said, yes, sir. So he knew to stay with his group. So why would he split from his group? I don't know.
We went in his Snapchat. He had 2 accounts, absolutely nothing. It wasn't even 24 hours, which is how long videos and pictures stay in Snapchat. And I was just like, that can't be. Like, I've seen Nolan whenever he snaps, like when he goes and he's having fun, like he does videos, like there was absolutely nothing, no saved videos. And even my sister was like, yeah, that's suspicious, you know.
That is Nolan's family, the family lawyer with our friends at GMA and PBS. Caitlin Becker with us, senior national correspondent, New York Post, star of NY Postcast. Caitlin, a lot right there. Okay, you got Crump, and he's saying it is not Nolan's character to have stayed behind to start with, or much less without his phone. He identifies the conflict that we have identified tonight between the 2 stories. The dad insists he would never have parted with all of his friends. And last but not least, we're hearing not only did Snapchats disappear, but that Nolan was a videographer, a photographer. He always took pictures of the fun times he was having, moments with his friends, games, the whole shebang. But they're all gone. There are not any. I also find that disturbing, Caitlin.
It's a little odd that they're...
I just sat through this whole Nancy Grace episode about Nolan Wells. The whole thing. Every guess, every excuse, every span, every not uncommon that came out of these people's mouths. And when I tell you, I got things to say, because Nancy, she asked some good questions. She did. I'm hearing something, and it ain't you. That was fire. I like that, Nancy. But she let these guests off. She let them slide. She let Honey, she let him make excuses and like spin fairy tales and act like this was just some unfortunate accident. And I'm here to tell y'all it was not. It wasn't. And Nancy might be awake now, but she better stay awake because these friends, these police, the system, they are counting on us to fall back asleep. Okay, look, I'm going to give Nancy her flowers where they do. She asks about the phone. She asks about the conflicting stories. She asks about the Life 360. She asks about who left him on that island. She pressed Todd when he started with that uncommon bull crap. Honey, I'm hearing something, and it's you, okay? That was Nancy. I remember that Nancy. That was a Nancy who don't let people dodge, okay? I appreciate it for that. But honey, she let John just spin the block. She let him come up there and say, oh, well, maybe he left with a group and planned to come back with another. Where? That shit don't make sense that he came with a group of friends and he was planning to leave and go back with another. Who did he tell these plans to? Did he tell it to the family? Did he tell it to the friends? He didn't tell it to the friends. Don't you think? I'm asking y'all, if Nolan Wells was planning to go back to land with Bobby and Derek, don't you think he would have told his best friends? Remember, these was his ride or die friends. These were the friends that allegedly he lived with them for like 3 years. These were the friends that was his brothers. Ain't no damn way you leave family to go back to the land with some other group of people. No, he gonna stay with his boys. Mind you, he spent the night with these white boys to even go to the 4th of July because he was spending the 4th of July with his brothers. So that shit don't make any sense. Yeah. Have we heard from them? Have they came forward? Or is it just a theory? This fake group of friends that Nolan supposedly got on a boat with. We haven't heard from them. They haven't came forward. You get what I'm saying? He just putting out theories. He is pulling shit out his ass to make the friends look less guilty. That's all that is. Because it sounds like you making up fairy tales, right? Press 7 if it sounds like his ass was making up fairy tales. It sounds like you done doing a defense attorney gymnastics for them white boys. And Nancy, she didn't push back hard enough for me. I'm sorry. She did not push hard enough for me. She let them have that moment, and that moment, that was a lie getting airtime, and I don't like that, okay? Then we got that dude Todd on there. He's United Cajun Navy, supposed to be helping, right? Supposed to be searching, but every time Nancy asks him a real question, oh, it's not uncommon for the boat to have engine troubles. Oh, it's not uncommon for somebody to stay on the island. Oh, it's not uncommon to hitch a ride back. Brother, I got a question for you. What is uncommon, huh? Because a dead black boy is uncommon. A dead black boy who phone got wiped is uncommon. A dead black boy who friends got 2 different stories is uncommon. A dead black boy whose Life 360 say he's on land, but he's in the water is uncommon. You talking about what's common, but you ignoring the one thing that actually happened. And you know what? The comments see it. Somebody said, Todd is making excuses for the suspect. This dude made every excuse not to state the damn obvious, y'all. Did y'all catch that? The cover-up begins. Honey, y'all see it? Did y'all see it? Nancy saw it too. She just didn't go hard enough for me. I'm sorry, Nancy. You did not go hard enough. I'm hearing something. It's you. Okay? She should have said that 10 more times. Okay? Now, also, Nancy caught the main conflict, which we all looking at. She did. Katie. If she's real, say Nolan told her he was going back with friends. The friends say Nolan told them he was staying with Katie. Nancy said it herself, both cannot be true. Those cannot mutual exist in truth. That was good. That was the Nancy we needed. But when she let that other person spin that shit and talking about some maybe there was another group theory, I didn't like that. And she didn't shut it down. You know, she didn't say, where is this other group? Who are the other group? We want names of these other group. Okay, have they been in a group, this other fairy tale group? Have they come forward, this other fairy tale group? And surely, if it's a group and they said what, it was all students on the island, then somebody at the school know who these group of people are. Because they said it was all students that they were having a student day, right? From the school. And wasn't the other black guy, Javon, wasn't he there? You didn't see Nolan with a other group of friends that he hang with? You couldn't tell us some names? See, this is bull crap, y'all. Honey, I just hang it there. And I got to say something too, Nancy. When you let a lie hang like that, Nancy, it becomes the truth to people who want to believe that crap. And you know you got a lot of white winged people that want to hear that bull crap. It becomes a way for the friends to breathe. It becomes a way for the system to say, oh, well, there was another group. We can't find them. Case closed. Now, we're not letting that shit fly, Nance. Nancy asks about the phone. She had some doctor, Lancy, on there talking about how teens don't leave their phones. That was good, Nancy. That was real. What teen leaves their cell phone, y'all? Huh? None. Exactly. Okay. Nolan documented everything on his phone. He was a photographer, a video photographer. He took pictures every moment. But that day on that island where all the fun was supposedly happen, nothing, not one Snapchat. It's the 4th of July, y'all. Not one video, not one text. And the friends had his phone. The friends had his car keys. And when a mama got it back, it was all cleaned out, all deleted. That's very suspicious. Nancy asked about it, but she did not ask the next question. She didn't ask, why did the friends have his phone and not tell his mother he was missing? She didn't ask that. Why didn't they call 911? Why didn't she ask that? Why did they delete the messages? Why? For what? What reasons do you have to delete the messages? She stopped at the phone is suspicious and didn't go to the friends are guilty, okay? And I needed her to go there. I needed her to drive that, and she failed me on that one. And the Snapchat audio, Nancy did play it. She had this lady on there talking about it, the voice saying, give me back my effing audio phone. What the F are you doing? And then get off me. Get the F off this boat. F you, bro. Whoa, get off me. That sounds like a fight. Somebody interacting with each other. It's a fight. So we need to have an interview with everybody that was around that fight, that was in that fight. I want everybody round their ass up. Wyatt, was he in that fight? Where was Wyatt at during this fight? Where was Warren at during this fight? Where was Eli? Where the evidence? Where they all at? Okay? Now, they got people saying this. Oh, that wasn't Nolan. That was another friend in another altercation. Really? Another altercation on the same boat, on the same day, and we just supposed to believe that? Nancy didn't push back on that shit either. Did y'all see her let that shit slide? She let that girl say, well, someone came forward saying it was me, and didn't ask. Who? What is their name? That Shepherd dude? Okay. Are they one of the friends who was supposedly there? That Shepherd dude. That Shepherd dude. So let it maybe when it should have been proven. How could we have proved it? Because if it was Nolan, that's a fight, that's an altercation. That's a boy begging for his phone before he dies. All right. And that shepherd dude, when he came back out, he said he was arguing about a situation he had with his girlfriend, right? He was arguing with his girlfriend. Another guy stepped in and was defending his girlfriend, and he wanted to fight the guy for the girl. It was stupid. I want to bring the guy in that the shepherd dude had a fight with. I want to bring Nolan, that shepherd dude girlfriend in too. Let's bring it. I want to talk to everybody. Okay. And if it wasn't Nolan, then who was fighting and why? And where was Nolan while this fight was happening? Nancy didn't ask that. I would have asked that. And the Life 360, can we talk about that? The Life 360. Nancy had Nolan's mama on there, and Christine, and this woman, honey, she broke my heart. She said the Life 360 showed Nolan on dry land, but the Snapchat showed him in the water. And Nancy, she let the guy come on and say, well, Life 360 ain't always accurate. Really, dude? Really? It ain't accurate by a few blocks, not by a whole island, not by land versus water. Nancy should have said, listen, dude, you got kids, you track them. Does your app put them in the ocean when they're in the goddamn bedroom? Hello? Does the app put their ass in the ocean when they're in the bedroom? She should have pressed his ass. She should have made him explain how an app glitches a boy from dry land into the Gulf of Mexico. Hello? But she didn't. She let his ass have that expert moment. And that moment, that was a mother getting dismissed. And I didn't like that. That was a black woman getting told her evidence don't matter by another black man. And I don't like that. That was the system doing what it always does. And I didn't like that. And I've been reading some of the comments, when I went on Nancy video, and I'm looking at stuff, y'all. I'm seeing everything. They done woke Nancy up. That's what people are saying. If Nancy is on the case, then somebody's going to prison. The biggest red flag is the police arguing there is no crime. Accidents don't erase text messages. Why would the friends erase Nolan text messages? Everyone knows the answers because they ass is guilty. This dude made every excuse not to state the obvious. Talking about that black dude. The cover up begins. Nancy knows when something is fishy. Y'all, I get it. And I see y'all. I see what Nancy saw. But y'all also see what Nancy did not say. Did y'all catch what she did not say? Y'all see the guest she let off? Did y'all see the guest that she had on? Y'all see the theories she let hang out here are very dangerous. Y'all see the not uncommon bullcrap that she did not crush? And that's what I'm here. That's why we are here. Because Nancy might be the platform, but we the ones who ain't letting shit go. Honey, let's talk about the autopsy. Nancy, she did mention the autopsy. She said it was pending. She said it was a toxology that takes time, but she didn't ask why the basic facts ain't out yet. Why isn't the basic facts out from Mississippi? She didn't ask why the cause of death ain't been released. Has the cause of death been released? She didn't ask why the injuries ain't been described. She didn't ask why they found him fully clothed with no water in his lungs and still calling it a damn drowning. She didn't ask why the police was so quick to say no foul play before the autopsy was even done. She did not ask why the friends ain't being interrogated. I want to know, why aren't the friends being interrogated? Everybody else is coming up. Javon doing an interview, Shepard doing an interview, the coach doing an interview. F them, why ain't the friends doing an interview? Honey, she didn't ask why the friends ain't being separated and questioned individually either. She asked the surface ass question, but she didn't go deep. And I needed her ass to go deep because Nolan family need her to go deep. They need somebody with a platform to ask the questions that get answers, not just no damn airtime. And here's the biggest thing Nancy did not do. She didn't name the friends. I wanted her ass to name the friends. She didn't show their faces. She didn't say, these are the people who was with Nolan. Okay? There are the people who left him. These are the boys who had his phone. These are the people who gave different two stories. She treated them like ghosts. Like they just don't exist. Like they ain't real people with real names, real faces, and real social media accounts. They do. We know they do. We've seen them. We know who they are. And Nancy, she protected them. She gave them the benefit of the doubt. She gave them fucking privacy. And she gave them time. And what did Nolan get? He got a funeral. He got a hashtag. He got a pending investigation. He got another black boy's death getting swept under the rug while the people who was with him get to hide. I don't like that. I don't like it. But let me give Nancy her flowers again. Because she did have a moment when that Todd was making all those excuses, when she was saying, it's not uncommon. For the 100th time, Nancy looked at him and said, I'm hearing something, and it's you. Okay? That was the Nancy I like, okay? That was the Nancy who didn't let people dodge. That was the Nancy who looked in the eye and called you on your bullshit. And I need more of that. I need her to say that to the rest of them. I need her to say that to the police. I need her to say it to the friends when they finally get on her show, because they will get on her show. They will have to answer, okay? And when they do, Nancy better be ready. Nancy better be sharp. Nancy better be the Nancy that don't let shit go, okay? So here's what I'm talking about, y'all. I want you guys to find anything that you guys can find on this. I'm going to be doing my research. I'm running out of time. I do have to go soon, but I'm going to try to come back tonight. Do you guys want me to come back tonight with some more updates? If you guys want me to, please press that 5, and you know I will. All right? You